A new and improved formula. Due to me not having, I don't know how to edit, YouTube videos. I'll do this in 2 or 3 parts. So what we are up to today is reconing some speakers. Now the audio stuff in the channel does quite well. Not as well as the cats. So these are JBL 2227s. It's a 15-inch driver. They're actually not bass speakers. Their main function was for in stage monitors. They don't pull a very low note considering the diameter of the speaker. So this is the internals of it. Why have I shown you that adhesive cleaner? Well, I didn't use that stuff on here. What I did was I soaked the life out it in petrol. Now, be grown up. If you're going to use petrol, think about the potential consequences. So this is a 2226, and the reason I showed you that is because of this stuff down here. Now, I soaked this in petrol ages ago. Hear it? And it has done nothing to, we will call this JBL black glue. Hear it? I was hoping that would, using a solvent, would make that malleable. Then I could pop the dust cone out without damaging it, but I think it's been a waste of my time. So with this one, I think someone's been in here before, and they've used a Evil Stick adhesive to glue it down, which after being soaked in the solvent, which was petrol, but if you smoke, I'm using petrol because it's cheap, and because I had some lying about. I think I've also got isopropyl alcohol somewhere that is supposed to break down glues stuff, right? So what I did, that's the rubber surround that goes on it. So what I did was I got this paintbrush here, went around the rubber surround and soaked it in it. Now, we now know that petrol doesn't work on the, or I'll call it a solvent. The solvent doesn't work on the JBL black glue, but it does break down Evil Stick. So the first thing I did was went round the driver a few times and just painted my solvent, my magical solvent, over the top of that rubber stuff. Used a little flat bladed screwdriver to pop the end off it. Then the action I'm using, let's get some more solvent to go. The action I'm using here is what I used on the rubber surround. And I basically just followed it around until it popped off. Now I've maybe went round it 5 times with petrol, or as Americans would say, gasoline. And it seems to be breaking that down. I want to do as little damage to the chassis, the metal part of the speaker, as I possibly can. And there's a thing called a spider down here. Oh, you can't see it. The voice coil runs into the magnet and to protect the voice coil from dust. There's another bit called spider. So I've soaked the spider in. Let's pop it up. I've soaked the spider in, is that brownie thing? In the solvent as well. And I'm going to go in and attack it. So I'm trying to do as little damage to the speaker as possible. The black glue doesn't seem to be getting broke down using the solvent I'm using. I haven't tried that stuff on it. I find this works really quite well. I've used it before, but it's expensive. In the tin, there's health warnings for neptane. I don't know what that is. Naphtha. I think that's more or less paraffin. And 1% benzene. Benzene, which I think's petrol. When I looked into the AI, I checked in AI, and they says to break down the JBL black glue, that stuff there, it doesn't seem to be breaking down. Isopropyl alcohol works. I've got some in the workshop, can't find it. Also says acetone works. That's kind of nail polish remover, isn't it? Heat. I do not want to put, it said to go around it with a soldering iron and melt it. I'm not doing that because it's soaked in a flammable solvent. The AI says JBL black glue is a 1K hybrid polymer. If any of you know what that means, I don't. So this is part one of the video. So we're reconing JBL 2227s, which are very, very rare loudspeakers. They're real expensive, they're about 400 quid each. I've got a couple of Recone kits. There's a pile of equipment that I want to sell. I know this looks mental, but trust me, I'll get it sorted. I've got a pile of equipment I want to sell. So it's time to start preparing everything up. I've got some original Recone kits for this, original Recone kits for them. I think the 2226s are about 400 quid. I mean, they're not worth it. And again, for a 15-inch speaker, they don't really produce a lot of bass. Its comfort zone was in stage monitors. They're very, very good at producing the low frequencies in human voices, and variations of that driver were used in a lot of recording studio monitors. As a high-end bit of kit, is it worth 400 quid? Considering what you can buy today for £400, I would say no, but we'll get some videos out of it. So, step one is I'm trying to remove as much of the surrounds and stuff as I can with solvent so it doesn't damage the old cone, which is getting thrown in the bin anyway. Am I wasting my time? I don't know. I want to try to reuse the little rubber edges if I can. That's been soaking for a while. It's kind of popping out. I don't want to rip it in case some of it sticks onto the cone. Give the cone surround a bit of a pull. It is coming up, but again, you can see it. Petrol eats. I think that'll be Evo stick that's been reconed with. Petrol eats that stuff. So we'll call that a bonus. So this is number one of me reconing some vintage JBL drivers. I believe they're still manufactured, but thanks for watching. I'll do a series on it, so we can. This will be number 1, 2, and hopefully 3 will be gluing them all back together and cleaning them stuff. Right, makes a change from the cat videos. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps somebody. The JBL black glue mystery continues. Right, bye bye.